Beginning. The desert sentence. The desert of Kharos did not forgive mistakes. It stretched endlessly beneath 3 burning suns, its crimson sands alive with heat and silence. Even machines struggled to survive there, so when I saw a figure stumbling across the dunes, I assumed my sensors were malfunctioning. I was wrong. I had been stationed on Kharos as a logistics engineer for the Interstellar Trade Union, maintaining a remote water relay that fed nearby settlements. Human work, far from politics and royal courts. I liked it that way. Out here there were no grand speeches. Only survival. The figure collapsed less than 50 meters from my outpost. I grabbed my respirator and ran. She wasn't human. Her skin carried a muted silver hue, cracked and blistered from exposure. Her breathing was shallow, irregular. She wore ceremonial fabric, torn, scorched, unmistakably not meant for travel. Around her neck hung a broken symbol of clan identity. I knew what that meant. She's condemned, I muttered. On Kharos, exile into the desert wasn't punishment. It was execution. I hesitated. Interfering with local justice violated several treaties. Harboring a condemned alien could cost me my position, or worse. But as I knelt beside her, her eyes fluttered open, revealing pupils ringed with faint gold. She whispered a single word, barely audible. Please. That was enough. I lifted her into my arms and carried her inside. The truth of her exile. She slept for 2 days. I kept her hydrated, treated her burns, and stabilized her body temperature. When she finally woke, she tried to sit up and failed. Easy, I said gently. You're safe. Her eyes darted around the room, panic flaring instantly. You are human. Yeah, I replied. And you were dying. Silence followed. Then her shoulders sagged. My name is Celera, she said quietly. Daughter of the Nareth clans. I felt my stomach tighten. The Nareth were strict, traditional to the point of cruelty. They condemned you, I said. She nodded. For refusing. Refusing what? Her fingers clenched into the sheets. Marriage. Waited. She continued. I was chosen as a bond bride. Political. Permanent. He was powerful. And cruel. Her voice trembled. I said no. And that was enough. For a woman of my caste, she said bitterly. Choice is rebellion. The sentence was exile. Walk into the desert. No supplies. No farewell. No witnesses. They told me my death would restore balance, she said. That my silence would preserve tradition. Clenched my jaw. And instead, I said, you collapsed near a human outpost. Her eyes met mine. Why did you help me? I didn't have a perfect answer. Because leaving you there felt wrong. Learning to live together. The days that followed were tense but quiet. Lyra recovered slowly. Her physiology was similar enough to human that standard treatments worked, with adjustments. She moved cautiously, as if expecting punishment at any moment. At first she asked permission for everything. To eat, to speak, to exist. It broke something in me. You don't have to ask, I told her one evening as we shared a simple meal. This isn't a court. You're not property. Her eyes shimmered faintly. Where I come from, women who refuse obedience do not survive. Well, I said, gesturing around the small outpost. Welcome to somewhere different. She studied me in silence. Over time she began asking questions, not about Earth or technology but about choice. Humans truly choose their partners, she asked once. Yes. And can refuse without punishment. Yes. She absorbed this quietly, as if the idea itself required effort to believe. Outside, the desert storms howled. Inside, something unfamiliar began to grow. Trust. The danger of discovery. It didn't last. 3 weeks after I found her, an unmarked patrol vessel appeared on the horizon. Nereth hunters. Lyra saw it first. "They've come to finish it," she whispered. I felt anger flare. "You're not going back. They will kill you for harboring me." "Let them try," I said, though my heart pounded. The patrol approached the outpost. Armed figures emerged, their armor marked with clan sigils. Their leader spoke without greeting. "Human, you shelter a condemned woman." "She's under my protection," I replied. Their eyes narrowed. "She forfeited protection when she defied tradition." I stepped forward. "Your tradition nearly murdered her." Silence followed. Then the leader said, "Step aside." "No." My refusal shocked them. Humans weren't supposed to interfere. Lyra stepped beside me. "I refuse again," she said clearly. "I choose to live." The hunters hesitated. Perhaps it was the presence of witnesses. Perhaps it was the growing influence of interstellar law. Or perhaps they saw something in her posture they hadn't before. Someone no longer broken. The leader spat into the sand. "She is no longer Nereth," he said. "Her fate is no longer ours." They left. Just like that. Lyra collapsed against me, shaking. "She's free," I whispered. She laughed softly, then cried. Ending. A new life chosen. Weeks passed. The trade union was notified. Legal protections were invoked. Lyra was classified as a political exile under human asylum statutes. She stayed. Not because she had nowhere else to go, but because she chose to. She learned human customs slowly. Laughed more easily. Stopped apologizing for existing. Sometimes she watched the horizon, but fear no longer lived in her eyes. One evening, as the suns dipped below the dunes, she stood beside me outside the outpost. "They said I would die forgotten," she said. "Instead, I was seen." He nodded. "You saved yourself. I just opened the door." She turned to me. "You did more than that." The desert wind carried silence between us. Not heavy, not awkward. Peaceful. "I don't know what comes next," she said. "That's okay," I replied. "Neither do I." She smiled. "Then perhaps we choose together." And in that moment, beneath alien stars and endless sand, I realized something profound. They had condemned her for refusing to belong to someone else. I took her in, not as property, not as obligation, but as a person who deserved the right to choose her own future. And that choice changed both our lives forever.